everyone, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I apologize in advance. This is probably going to be a really shaky video. I have not found the hot shoe adapter for my phone for my tripod yet, so we are using a selfie stick perched on the edge of a picnic table. So that's where we are in life right now. If you follow me, you probably noticed that I did not do a weigh-in video last week. It is not because I fell off the rails. It's actually for a pretty good reason. One of my really good friends from high school who joined the military and I have not had the pleasure of visiting with for any extended period of time in about 10 years, came home to visit for an entire week, and I was able to actually spend a couple of days with him catching up. Just had a lot of fun, a lot of quality time catching up with each other, and I was just having so much fun. I was like, I'll get around to this eventually. So yeah, the last time I weighed in, it was somewhere over 280 still, and as of today I weighed in at 270.7. so I have lost just over 10 pounds since the last time we talked. So adding the protein, which was the modification that I decided to make, apparently was a very good idea. It did work. Today marks 2 weeks with the added protein. Since my weight has gone down, I'm going to go ahead and start removing the protein. I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to wean off of it with like half a protein and then go down to removing the whole protein, or just go ahead and remove the whole protein. I haven't had lunch today, so I haven't really made that decision. I did use regular portions at breakfast. So I'll have to make that decision today, but it has worked out really well for me. And if I stall again, then I will just add more protein back in. So that's where I'm at. I think with my added protein, I was hitting about 15 to 1600 calories a day, which is still fine, although ideally I should try and stay around 1300 to keep the trend of about 2 pounds per week. So another thing is, now that I'm down that 10 more pounds, I realized today I am 77 pounds down with Bright Line Eating, which means I am only 22 pounds away from having lost 100 pounds with Bright Line Eating. And that's my goal right now. My goal at the moment is to hit that 100 pounds. And if I can continue this trend without any more stalls like I had last month, I'm pretty sure I can do that by Christmas, which is really exciting because that would bring me down to about, 245 to 250 at Christmas. So that would be really exciting. Yeah, so things are going really good. I did have a little bit of breaking lines this week. I didn't completely like fall off the rails and binge or anything like that. To be honest, binging short of that short period at the beginning of the year when I got a personal trainer, and maybe a couple of short periods in my past when I've gone through really emotionally distressing situations, binging honestly has never been a huge issue for me. My huge issue was overwhelming hunger, where carbohydrates were causing me to be hungry all the time. I wasn't really wanting to binge or anything all the time, but I was like legitimately hungry like all the time. So anyway, where was I? I lost my train of thought. I really lost my train of thought there. Oh, so I didn't binge. What had happened was my friend's here, like I said, and we got to spend some quality time, and he wanted to go wine tasting, and this is kind of like a 1 in a 10-year type thing. I haven't seen him in 10 years. Who knows when I'll see him again. I was like, you know what? He's on leave. If he wants to go wine tasting, we're going to go wine tasting. And I've never really had an issue with alcohol either, so I was not concerned about alcohol becoming a binge trigger or anything like that. I was like, I'll have a little bit of wine. I'll stick to my food. We'll be good. So we went wine tasting one day. I think throughout the course of the day, I had the equivalent of maybe 2 glasses of wine because we were sharing flights at all of the tasting rooms that we went to. I was driving, so I did not want to become intoxicated. So it was very, slow paced throughout the day. And I was fine. And then my food and everything was fine that day. But then a couple days later, we ended up getting together again and ended up going to the Greek festival. And I made the mistake of having 2 glasses of wine because I wasn't driving. And this was how I justified it. This is a saboteur, okay? I was like, I didn't have my fruit at lunch, so I can squeeze in a glass of wine, you know, in lieu of fruit, right? No. Bad idea. Don't do it. I mean, I was able to resume. Let's just say that. I did not have issues resuming. But that 1 glass of wine led to 1.5 glasses of wine, which apparently was too much wine for me because I never drink, and I was pretty tipsy, which led to a couple of bites of someone else's dessert and a bite of some really, really horrible pasta dish. I don't know what it was. It was like some kind of Greek lasagna. I have not had any kind of pasta. Well, no, I take that back. I have had bean pasta, but I have not had any kind of like flour pasta since doing Brightline Eating, and it was horrible. It was disgusting. Pasta has no flavor. Why would I ever eat that? I had no desire to eat pasta again. I was like, this is the most bland, disgusting thing I've tasted in my entire life. It was not appealing at all, which surprised me because I thought that I was a flour girl and, you know, that pasta would be good, but even intoxicated, it was not good. So, yeah, that was my breaking of lines. I had a bite of pasta and a couple of bites of someone else's dessert, and I had a glass and a half of wine. And I did notice that having that wine made me want more wine, not food, which makes me wonder if, you know, they talk about, you know, neural pathways and riverbeds that are always there, and you could, you know, whatever. That possibly I may be one of those people where I could easily switch my addiction from food to alcohol or something else. Because I've never ever had alcohol and then craved alcohol. And the day after that was like, oh, I want a glass of wine. I didn't have one, but the desire to have one was there. So, yeah, I have to be careful about that. Since I don't have a real strong problem with alcohol and I was able to easily resume, I think for me, alcohol consumption, as long as it is kept very, very, very infrequently on special occasions only, that it probably will not be a huge deal for me. But it's definitely something that I need to avoid, and I would not advocate anybody else doing it, especially if you feel like you are easily triggered. I actually don't feel like I'm easily triggered at all at this point. I feel more in control of my food than ever before. But I do have to be mindful all the time. So that's it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. No more wine for me. No more bites of other people's food for me. I'm really, really, really just trying to hit that 100-pound goal before the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure I can do it. Really happy with my progress. And that's where I'm at. So I think that's about it. Hopefully by the time I check in next week, I will have more good news in terms of how the scale is going. Also, the Brightline Eating Food Freedom Program Facebook group, I think, is still open as of today. I will link it below. They're doing a special boot camp with some special offers. So if you are still considering doing the boot camp, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, it's a great time to sign up. And that's about it. So I will check in with you guys in a week. Bye.